Japan's ancient history is a tale of transformation, rooted in its early tribal cultures and evolving into a land defined by its samurai class. Before the samurai, Japan was fragmented, a patchwork of regions ruled by powerful chieftains and early emperors. Influences from neighboring China and Korea, such as Buddhism and Confucianism, began to shape the spiritual and cultural identity of Japan. But despite these external influences, Japan maintained a distinct identity, one that would later give rise to the samurai, the warriors who would define an era. As Japan developed, internal conflicts and external threats necessitated the creation of a disciplined warrior class. Initially, the samurai were hired by powerful landowners to protect their territories. These early samurai were far from the noble figures they are often depicted as today. They were mercenaries who fought for whoever could pay them. However, as their importance grew, the samurai began to adopt a code of ethics that would elevate them above mere fighters. This code, known as Bushido, or the Way of the Warrior, emphasized values such as loyalty, courage, and honor. Bushido became the foundation of the samurai's reputation and way of life. Unlike other warriors who fought for personal gain or out of necessity, the samurai were bound by a strict moral code. They were expected to be loyal to their lord, to show courage in the face of adversity, and to uphold their honor above all else. This code of conduct set them apart from other warrior classes around the world and became deeply ingrained in Japanese society. The Heian period, often considered Japan's golden age, marked a turning point in the rise of the samurai. During this time, the imperial court in Kyoto was the center of political and cultural life, and Japan saw significant developments in art, literature, and religion. However, beneath the surface, the power of the central government was waning. Corruption and inefficiency plagued the court, and powerful landowners in the provinces began to amass their own private armies of samurai to protect their interests. As the central government's power declined, the samurai's influence grew. They were no longer just hired swords. They became the de facto rulers of the regions they served. The turning point for the samurai came during the Genpei War, a conflict between two powerful clans, the Taira and the Minamoto. The war, which lasted from 1180 to 1185, culminated in the Battle of Dan no Ura, where the Minamoto clan emerged victorious. This victory marked the end of the Taira clan's dominance and the beginning of a new era in Japanese history. Minamoto no Yoritomo, the leader of the Minamoto clan, established the Kamakura Shogunate in 1192. This military government marked the beginning of Japan's feudal era, where the shogun, or military dictator, held the real power while the emperor became a symbolic figurehead. Under the Kamakura Shogunate, the samurai solidified their role as Japan's ruling class. They were not only warriors, but also administrators, judges, and governors, responsible for maintaining order and enforcing the law. The Kamakura Shogunate was a period of both stability and challenge for the samurai. They faced numerous threats, both from within and outside Japan. One of the most significant challenges came from the Mongol invasions of the late 13th century. The Mongol Empire, under the leadership of Kublai Khan, attempted to invade Japan twice, in 1274 and 1281. Both invasions were repelled, thanks in part to the samurai's fierce resistance and the intervention of powerful storms, known as kamikaze or divine winds, that destroyed much of the Mongol fleet. These events further cemented the samurai's reputation as Japan's protectors. The Kamakura Shogunate, however, eventually fell in the early 14th century, leading to a period of political instability known as the Muromachi period. This era was marked by constant warfare between rival samurai clans, each vying for control of Japan. The country descended into chaos during the Sengoku period, also known as the Warring States period, where powerful warlords, or daimyo, fought for supremacy. Despite the chaos, the Sengoku period also saw the rise of some of Japan's most legendary figures. including Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. Oda Nobunaga, a ruthless and ambitious daimyo, began the process of unifying Japan by defeating his rivals and consolidating power. After his death, his loyal general Toyotomi Hideyoshi continued his work, eventually bringing most of Japan under his control. Finally, Tokugawa Ieyasu, a shrewd and patient leader, completed the unification of Japan and established the Tokugawa Shogunate in 1603. The Tokugawa Shogunate marked the beginning of the Edo period, a time of peace and stability that would last for over 250 years. During this time, the role of the samurai changed. No longer needed on the battlefield, many samurai became bureaucrats, scholars, and artists. However, they continued to follow the code of Bushido, and their commitment to these values remained strong. The samurai's legacy endured, even as Japan underwent significant social, political, and economic changes. The Edo period was characterized by strict social hierarchies, economic growth, and cultural development. The samurai class was at the top of the social hierarchy, followed by farmers, artisans, and merchants. Although the samurai's role had shifted from warriors to administrators, they continued to hold significant power and influence in society. They were responsible for maintaining order, collecting taxes, and overseeing local governance. Despite the peace and stability of the Edo period, the samurai faced challenges. The long period of peace meant that many samurai no longer had opportunities to prove themselves in battle. As a result, some samurai struggled to find a sense of purpose and meaning in their lives. Additionally, the rigid social hierarchy of the Edo period made it difficult for samurai to adapt to changing economic conditions. Many samurai became indebted and were forced to sell their swords and armor to survive. The arrival of Western powers in the mid-19th century brought significant changes to Japan. The Tokugawa Shogunate's policy of isolation, which had kept Japan closed to the outside world for over 200 years, was challenged by Western countries seeking trade and diplomatic relations. The forced opening of Japan by Commodore Perry's Black Ships in 1853 led to a period of social and political upheaval. The decline of the Tokugawa Shogunate and the eventual restoration of imperial rule in 1868 marked the end of the samurai era. The Meiji Restoration brought about sweeping reforms that aimed to modernize Japan and strengthen its position on the world stage. As part of these reforms, the samurai class was abolished, and the privileges and status that had defined them for centuries were taken away. Many former samurai struggled to adapt to the new order, while others embraced the opportunities brought by modernization. Despite the end of the samurai class, their legacy continues to influence Japanese society and culture. The values of Bushido, such as loyalty, honor, and discipline, remain deeply ingrained in Japanese culture. The samurai have also become iconic figures in popular culture, inspiring countless stories, films, and works of art. From Kurosawa's films to modern-day video games, the image of the samurai continues to captivate and inspire people around the world. The story of the samurai is one of resilience, honor, and transformation. From their humble beginnings as hired mercenaries to their rise as Japan's ruling class, the samurai have left an indelible mark on history. Their legacy serves as a reminder of the values they held dear and the enduring impact they have had on Japan and the world. As we reflect on the history of ancient Japan and the samurai who conquered it, we are reminded of the power of tradition, the importance of honor, and the resilience of the human spirit. The story of the samurai is not just a story of warriors, it is a story of a people and a culture that has shaped the course of history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the epic history of ancient Japan and the samurai who conquered it. If you enjoyed this exploration of Japan's past, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating historical content. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the samurai in the comments below. What aspect of their legacy resonates with you the most? Stay tuned for our next deep dive into history. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and remember, the past shapes our future. See you in the next video.